हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू माय चैनल। दिस इज सीए राखी अग्रवाल। आज का हमारा टॉपिक है इंडियन अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड 110, दैट इज कंसोलिडेशन ऑफ अकाउंट्स पार्ट 3। So let's start our talk. Now, consolidation process we will discuss in theory also. So firstly, steps in consolidation process is prepare balance sheet in schedule 3 format. After that, step 2 is consolidation notes बनाइए, that is line by line addition of assets and liabilities in these way. Particulars, parent, subsidiary, consolidation, adjustment and total, property, plant, equipment, whatever the assets are there, inventories, trade receivables, borrowings, whatever the assets and liabilities are there, you have to add of parent company also and subsidiaries also, along with all the adjustment of total addition. Adjustment is if mentioned in the question, you have to do that. All the items of assets and liabilities as appearing in the standalone balance sheet of the parent and subsidiaries में जितना भी assets and liabilities है, before making any adjustment should be recorded above. जो भी assets liabilities parent company का या subsidiary का standalone में है, वो आप line by line addition यहाँ पे record कीजिए before making any adjustment. After that you will make the adjustment. However, the following items shall be excluded. Consolidation schedule. You do not need to take. आपको investment in subsidiaries, अगर parent company में investment reflect कर रहा है in subsidy, you will not take that. You will not take the equity share capital of parent and subsidiary also. You will not take the reserve and other equities of parent and subsidiary. Only assets and liabilities you have to take in these consolidated schedule. In consolidation process, that is note number 2. In note number 2, you will take only the equity share capital of the parent company. That equity share is directly related. Parent company का जो भी equity share है, वो directly आप जाके consolidated financials में equity share capital दिखा दी. You do not need to change anything. Other equities means जो भी equity है, reserve, PL, general reserve, debenture redemption reserve, revaluation reserve, whatever the reserves are there, it will come in the other equity. Prepared in case there are more than one items of reserves, whatever the reserve, consolidated other equities means you have to take the then post acquisition profits of subsidiaries, post acquisition profits of parent, balance on the date of acquisition of parent profit, general reserve, security premium, whatever it will be. Now working note, that is cost of control account, that is the percentage of parent in subsidiary, whatever percentage they invest in subsidiary. With the help of that, we will prepare cost of control account by eliminating the investment and generating the goodwill by calculating goodwill. Cost of control to investment in subsidiary 100%, then 100% we will consider 80%, then we will take the 80% of equity, take the equity 80% of reserve of the subsidiaries. So differential becomes the goodwill or the gain on bargain purchase. Means if purchase consideration is more than the net asset, then it becomes a goodwill. If purchase consideration is less than net asset, then it becomes a capital reserve. The above may be prepared in a statement form as well as a ledger form. The above ledger account is prepared in the consolidated or group book. Only the cost of control account is prepared in the consolidation books, not in the standalone financials of the entity. These ledgers cancel out the investment in subsidiaries by parent, resulting in comparisons of the investment values in subsidiaries with the net assets. So we will cancel out this investment in subsidiaries by the net assets of the subsidiaries representing equity plus reserve on the date of acquisition. These equity and reserve, whatever we consider for determining the goodwill or capital reserve, this is on the date of acquisition only, not thereafter. Non-controlling interest, that is NCI, we have to prepare NCI also, that is suppose 80% is on the parent company holds and remaining 20% is non-controlling interest, that is equity share capital, 20% pre-acquisition profits, 20% on the date of acquisition. Balancing figure will go to the consolidated balance sheet. Now working non-controlling interest के बारे में, unless given otherwise, NCI needs to be calculated. Nothing is given, you will calculate non-controlling interest using the proportionate net asset method mentioned in the question. Then you will use fair valuation of non-controlling interest. If nothing is given, you will use proportionate net asset method. Note to that effect would need to be given. Where NCI on the date of acquisition is specifically asked, the balance of share capital and pre-acquisition reserve should be shown as in the first part of the pro forma above, showing NCI on the date of acquisition. If it is given that NCI should be calculated using the fair value method, the first part of the NCI account would be modified as follows. What we will do, you will take whatever the question fair valuation of NCI is given in the question, then you will take two balance carried down at fair value, by equity share capital whatever the percentage, by pre-acquisition profits whatever the percentage, suppose 20%, 20%. If balance, then it's okay. If difference comes out, then that difference is to be given to goodwill by goodwill balancing figure, and this goodwill is to be added with the goodwill whatever we generate in the cost of control account. Means NCI goodwill is added with the goodwill which we have generated in the cost of control account if it is calculated at fair value. Whatever fair valuation NCI difference comes out, it will go to the goodwill account. The second part of NCI would be same before. In such case, goodwill would be calculated as goodwill of cost of control account, whatever the goodwill generated from cost of control plus whatever the goodwill generated from NCI. Total goodwill will be reflected in the balance sheet. Analysis of reserves of subsidiaries to be done for each reserves of the subsidiary. Working note, that is the balance in PL on the date of consolidation from subsidiaries standalone balance sheet. Pre-acquisition profit, whatever the pre-acquisition profits of the subsidiary and whatever the post-acquisition profits of the subsidiary. If any adjustment is required, and in that pre-acquisition profits, whatever the part of the parent company, whatever the part of the NCI. Suppose pre-acquisition profit subsidiaries ka date of consolidation profit is 40,000. Out of that, 30,000 is the pre-acquisition profit and 10,000 is the post-acquisition profit. Out of that 30,000, that is pre-acquisition profit, 80% is the parent's profit and 20% is the non-controlling profit. And post-acquisition 10,000, 80% is the parent's profit, 20% is the NCI. In this way, you will do the working on the date of consolidation. Give effects to all the consolidated adjustments such as intercompany debtors, intercompany creditors, intercompany borrowing. If any intercompany debtors, creditors are there, it should be eliminated. After all adjustments are considered, balance total, the working note 1, 2, 3 and steps all the above. Total item in the note 1, post the amount under the appropriate heading in the consolidated. After making all the adjustments in the working note, we will transfer that amount to the consolidated balance sheet. Can non-controlling interest be negative? क्या non-controlling interest negative हो सकता है? Under the Ind AS regime, non-controlling interest is treated as a part of equity. This is because from the perspective of the parent, it does not represent any obligation to deliver cash. Component of equity can have a negative debit balance, that is net worth can be negative in case of PL debit balance, that is accumulated loss. Since non-controlling interest is a part of equity, it can also have a negative balance. No further adjustments are required in this case. A non-controlling interest is a part of equity, it may be negative, but no adjustment is required in this regard. Now discussion on adjustment related to consolidation. There are some discussion related to adjustments in consolidation. So today we are going to discuss one of the adjustments related to consolidation, that is dividend adjustment. In case dividend is paid by the subsidiary, it must be analyzed whether such dividend is paid out of the pre-acquisition profits or post-acquisition profits. If the question is silent, it is assumed that the dividend are paid out of post-acquisition profits unless profits are insufficient. So in this case, what it says, मतलब acquisition के पहले का profits है, at the time of acquisition आपने जब acquire किया है subsidiary को, अगर उस time dividend pay हुआ है तो वो adjust होगा pre-acquisition profit से, और अगर post-acquisition profit से मतलब after acquisition अगर dividend declared and paid है का adjustment post-acquisition profit से होगा. और अगर question में कुछ बोला भी नहीं गया है, the question is silent, it is assumed that the dividend are paid out of the post-acquisition profit. अगर dividend paid out of pre-acquisition profits तो क्या adjustment है? Deduct dividend from pre-profits. अगर pre-acquisition profit से हुआ है तो उसमें से आप reduce कीजिएगा, और post-acquisition profit से हुआ है तो उससे reduce कीजिएगा. Dividend adjustment, that is dividend paid out of pre-acquisition profits and dividend paid out of post-acquisition profits. Additional adjustments, the additional adjustment for pre-acquisition dividend always adjusted with the investment. Investment को वो रिड्यूस करेगा और पोस्ट एक्विजिशन डिविडेंड जो है वो इफेक्ट करेगा पीएल को. सो द एडिशनल एडजस्टमेंट फॉर प्री एक्विजिशन डिविडेंड इज रिक्वायर्ड बिकॉज प्रॉफिट्स वे एक्चुअली इन एग्जिस्टेंस ऑन द डेट ऑफ एक्विजिशन एंड डू नॉट एग्जिस्ट ऑन द डेट ऑफ कंसोलिडेशन. जब एडिशनल एडजस्टमेंट करेंगे फॉर प्री एक्विजिशन, हम लोग वो प्रॉफिट लेंगे जिस टाइम हमने कंपनी को एक्वायर किया, ऑन द डेट ऑफ एक्विजिशन, नॉट ऑन द डेट ऑफ कंसोलिडेशन, दैट इज ऑन 31st March. Since dividend are paid out of such pre-acquisition profits, these profits do not appear while analyzing the reserve of the subsidiaries as on the date of consolidation. However, goodwill is calculated on the date of acquisition. Since these profits did exist on the date of acquisition, they need to be considered in goodwill calculation, else goodwill calculation will be incorrect. Moreover, in standalone books of parent company, अगर parent company का standalone balance sheet बन गया है, dividend income would have been recorded in the profit and loss account. तो subsidiary जो भी dividend declare या pay करेगी, वो holding company का income होगा in standalone balance sheet, as the parent was the shareholder on the record date when the dividend was distributed. However, since the dividend represent distribution out of pre-acquisition profits, it should not appear in the consolidated period because the pre-acquisition profits of the subsidiaries are not considered. वो PL में नहीं जाएगा. At the time of acquisition, that reduce the investment. Hence, the above adjusting entry is required to be passed in case of pre-acquisition dividend. When the dividend are paid out of post-acquisition profits, they do not impact goodwill. अगर post-acquisition profits से अगर dividend declare हो रहा है, वो goodwill को impact नहीं करेगा. As such, profit do not pertains to profit existing at the date of acquisition. Further, since these profits are earned after acquisition, the parent share of such profits should appear in the consolidated profit and loss account. As the parent would have already recorded the dividend income in its standalone book, the same automatically forms part of consolidated profit and loss account and therefore no further adjustment is required. This dividend concept is explained with the help of example. This illustration is related to dividend received from subsidiary or dividend paid by the subsidiary. Suppose XYZ Limited purchased 80% share of ABC Limited on 1st April 2021 for rupees 1,40,000. The issued capital of ABC Limited on 1st April 2021 was rupees 1 lakh and the balance in the statement of profit and loss account was rupees 3,000. For the year ended on 31st March 2022, ABC Limited has earned a profit of rupees 20,000 and later on it declared and paid a dividend of rupees 30,000. Assume the fair value of non-controlling interest is same as the fair value on a per share basis of the purchase interest. All net assets are identifiable net assets. There are no non-identifiable assets. The fair value of identifiable net asset is rupees 1,50,000. So, by an entry, how dividend should be recorded in the books of XYZ Limited whenever it is received after approval in ensuring annual general meeting. What is the amount of non-controlling interest as on 1st April 2021 using fair value method and 31st March 2022? Also pass a journal entry on the acquisition date. This assumption is only for illustration purpose. However, in practical scenario, the fair value of NCI will be different than the fair value of controlling interest. Solution: date of acquisition when XYZ Limited acquired ABC Limited, that is on 1st April 2021. 80% stake is acquired by XYZ Limited of ABC Limited and at that time they pay a purchase consideration of rupees 1,40,000. ABC Limited's net identifiable assets are equity share capital of ABC Limited, that is the subsidiary company, on the date of acquisition becomes 1 lakh and profit and loss account balance as on the date of acquisition becomes 3,000 of ABC Limited. And the fair value of identifiable net assets is also given in the question, that is 1,50,000. And book value is also given, that is 1,60,000, that is equity plus PL. Now post acquisition, that is profit as on the date of acquisition, profit has earned as on 31st March 2022 becomes 20,000, that is the after acquisition the profit becomes 20,000, that is post acquisition profit, that is on 31st March 2022, and dividend declared and paid on 31st March after acquisition becomes 30,000. Out of these 30,000, because during the year current year profit is 20,000 and dividend paid is 30,000, so current year's these dividend are paid out of the current profit, that is 20,000, and post profit, that is 10,000. Question is silent about the fair value, then we will use book value of net assets. But in this question both is given, book value is also given and fair value. If both is given in the question, that is book value is also given and fair fair value of net identifiable asset is also given, then we will use, in order to determine goodwill, we will use the fair value approach. So in this question we are using the fair value approach. Now fair value of NCI on the date of acquisition becomes, as on 1st April 2021, become fair value of NCI on acquisition date, that is value of purchase by XYZ Limited, purchase consideration at 80%. That is, these 1,40,000 is paid for 80% stake. So total value of ABC Limited, that is 100% stake, becomes 140 divided by 80 into 100. So it becomes 1,75,000. 1,75,000 is the total value of assets of ABC Limited as on 1st April 2021. Now out of 1,75,000, 1,40,000 is paid by XYZ Limited. So in total assets, how much is NCI's percentage? That is 20%. So 1,75,000 into 20%, that becomes 35,000. These 35,000 is the part of assets of NCI. Goodwill calculation by using fair value method, goodwill becomes consideration plus NCI. NCI at fair value, that is NCI we had determined here at fair value, that is 35,000, and purchase consideration becomes, for 80% stake, it becomes 1,40,000. Fair value of net identifiable asset becomes 1,50,000. If question is silent about the fair value, then we will use book value of net asset. But in this question, both is given. Book value is also given and fair value. Both is given in the question, that is book value is also given and fair value of net identifiable asset is also given. Then we will use, in order to determine goodwill, we will use the fair value approach. That is 1,40,000 plus NCI at fair value 35,000. Fair value of net asset becomes 1,50,000. So it becomes 1,75,000 minus 150. So it becomes 25,000. That becomes a goodwill. Good. Now journal entry on acquisition date, that is on 1st April 2021. What was the journal entry? How you will proceed with? That is identifiable net assets of ABC Limited account debit is 1,50,000. Goodwill account debit, that is 25,000 as it is given in the calculation. That is, we have determined the goodwill here. To investment, you have to eliminate the investment, is 1,40,000. To non-controlling interest, that is 35,000. This is the journal entry as on the date of acquisition. At the time of acquisition, goodwill is to be determined. After acquisition, goodwill is not determined. At the time of acquisition, only goodwill is to be calculated. Now post acquisition profits and dividend impact per acquisition, that is post acquisition profits. Current year profits become 20,000, that is post acquisition, and dividend declared and paid by the company is 30,000. What was the journal entry in the books of XYZ Limited? कोई सब्सिडी कंपनी डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर कर रहा है, देन एट दैट टाइम इंडिविजुअल बुक्स में उनके हैंड में लाइबिलिटी हो गई हो. सब्सिडी के बुक्स में एट द टाइम ऑफ डिक्लेरेशन बट नॉट पेड इन द एजीएम, वो अपने बुक्स में लाइबिलिटी दिखाएगा. जिसको मिलने वाला है डिविडेंड, वो अपने बुक्स में रिसीवेबल दिखाएगा. रिसीवेबल क्यों दिखाएगा? क्योंकि उसको अभी मिला नहीं है, मिलेगा इन फ्यूचर. तो एट द टाइम ऑफ डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर, व्हाट एंट्री वाज पास्ड बाय द होल्डिंग कंपनी? So dividend receivable from ABC Limited account debit. In this case, total dividend declared by the company is 30,000, out of which 80% is held by XYZ Limited. Dividend receivable from ABC Limited 30,000 का 80%, it becomes 24,000, and that 24,000 is from the current profits and also from the pre-acquisition profits. So current year के profits से 20,000 का dividend, that is 20,000 का 80%, it becomes 10,000. Pre-acquisition profits से 10,000, so उसका 80%, it becomes 8,000. टाइम ऑफ एक्विजिशन जो प्रॉफिट्स था, उससे अगर डिविडेंड कुछ डिक्लेयर हुआ है तो वो इन्वेस्टमेंट से एडजस्ट होगा. तो डिविडेंड रिसीवेबल फ्रॉम एबीसी लिमिटेड अकाउंट डेबिट 24,000, 10,000 का 80%, that is 8,000 to investment in ABC Limited because it is adjusted from investment. Balancing amount, that is 16,000, that is 20,000 का 80%, it becomes 16,000, that is paid out of current year's profit, so it becomes income. It is adjusted with PL and transferred to PL as declared out of current profits on accrual basis. And at the time of dividend paid, what journal entry is to be passed? Bank account debit, because actually the amount is received by the holding company, so bank account is debited by 24,000. Whatever the dividend received, that is investment in ABC Limited account credit, and as dividend is paid out of pre-profit, that is 10,000 ka 80%, it becomes 8,000, and to dividend income, at that time it will be transferred to PL as paid out of the current profits on actual basis, that is 16,000. NCI calculation, that is NCI as on 1st April, it becomes 35,000 as we had calculated. So NCI at fair fair value, it becomes 35,000, and NCI, that is non-controlling interest, as on 31st March 2022, that is after acquisition, NCI becomes 35,000. Add share of post acquisition profit, that is 20,000 का 20% NCI का है, तो it becomes 4,000. लेस डिविडेंड पेड, जो डिविडेंड भी जब कंपनी पे कर रही है तो प्रॉफिट से ही पे कर रही है, जो कि ऑलरेडी उसने रिसीव कर लिया है, तो डिविडेंड को हम लोग लेस कर देते हैं फ्रॉम द प्रॉफिट. तो इन दिस केस हाउ मच डिविडेंड, 30,000 का 20%, so 6,000 is reduced from the profit. CI becomes 35,000 plus share of post acquisition profits 4,000 less dividend paid, that is 6,000. So how much closing non-controlling interest as on 31st March 2022, it becomes 33,000. These dividend of non-controlling interest shown in consolidated balance sheet under dividend payable. Now अगर हम लोग solution करें on proportionate method, as we have discussed the fair value method जो कि क्वेश्चन में बोला हुआ है, लेकिन we will discuss also the proportionate method in order to find out the goodwill, in order to find out the NCI. In that case we will prepare cost of control account, that is 80%. Equity share capital we will take the book value, that is not the fair value. 1,50,000 हम लोग नहीं लेंगे, book value जो share capital का actual में है in the question, that is share capital of ABC Limited, that is 1 lakh, and PL का 60,000. So by equity share capital of ABC Limited 1 lakh का 80%, that is 80,000. By pre-acquisition profit, that is 60,000 का 80%, that is 48,000. Actual में उसने पे किया in order to acquire 80% stake, that is 1,40,000. So goodwill becomes 12,000. Non-controlling interest 20% है. Equity share capital is 1 lakh का 20%, that is 20,000. Pre-acquisition profit 60,000 का 20%, it becomes 12,000. Proportionate basis पे जो closing balance है NCI का, as we had calculated in note 1, that is closing balance है 1,75,000 का 20%, so it becomes 35,000. Actual में ये reflect करेगा balance sheet में 35,000. तो जो differential amount है वो goodwill हो गया. By goodwill 3,000. So total goodwill becomes 12,000 plus 3,000. This calculation is done at the time of acquisition. So total goodwill becomes 12,000 plus 3,000, so it becomes 15,000. And journal entry on the date of acquisition becomes, so share capital plus reserve of ABC Limited account debit by 1,60,000, goodwill account debit by 15,000, to investment in ABC Limited account credit, that is 1,40,000, to non-controlling interest 35,000, as 1,75,000 differential becomes goodwill, that is 15,000. Now post acquisition profits and dividend impact per acquisition, that is post acquisition profits. Current year profits become 20,000, that is post acquisition, and dividend declared and paid by the company is 30,000. What was the journal entry in the books of XYZ Limited? कोई सब्सिडी कंपनी डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर कर रहा है, देन एट दैट टाइम इंडिविजुअल बुक्स में उनके हैंड में लाइबिलिटी हो गई, सब्सिडी के बुक्स में एट द टाइम ऑफ डिक्लेरेशन बट नॉट पेड इन द एजीएम, वो अपने बुक्स में लाइबिलिटी दिखाएगा, जिसको मिलने वाला है डिविडेंड वो अपने बुक्स में रिसीवेबल दिखाएगा. रिसीवेबल क्यों दिखाएगा? क्योंकि उसको अभी मिला नहीं है, मिलेगा इन फ्यूचर. तो एट द टाइम ऑफ डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर व्हाट एंट्री वाज पास्ड बाय द होल्डिंग कंपनी? So dividend receivable from ABC Limited account debit. In this case, total dividend declared by the company is 30,000, out of which 80% is held by XYZ Limited. Dividend receivable from ABC Limited 30,000 का 80%, it becomes 24,000, and that 24,000 is from the current profits and also from the pre-acquisition profit. So current year के profits से 20,000 का dividend, that is 20,000 का 80%, it becomes 15,000. Pre-acquisition profit से 10,000, so उसका 80%, it becomes 8,000. टाइम ऑफ एक्विजिशन जो प्रॉफिट्स था उससे अगर डिविडेंड कुछ डिक्लेयर हुआ है तो वो इन्वेस्टमेंट से एडजस्ट होगा. तो डिविडेंड रिसीवेबल फ्रॉम एबीसी लिमिटेड अकाउंट डेबिट 24,000, 10,000 का 80%, that is 8,000 to investment in ABC Limited because it is adjusted from investment. Balancing amount, that is 16,000, that is 20,000 का 80%, it becomes 16,000, that is paid out of current year's profit, so it becomes income. It is adjusted with PL and transferred to PL as declared out of current profits on accrual basis. And at the time of dividend paid, what journal entry is to be passed? Bank account debit, because actually the amount is received received by the holding company. So bank account is debited by 24,000. Whatever the dividend received, that is investment in ABC Limited account credit. And as dividend is paid out of pre-profit, that is 10,000 ka 80%, it becomes 8,000. And to dividend income, at that time it will be transferred to PL as paid out of the current profits on actual basis, that is 16,000. Illustration 2 given below are the financial statement of R Limited and S Limited as on 31st March 2026. 31st March 2026 का ये बैलेंस शीट है R Limited and S Limited का. On 1st April 2026 R Limited acquire किया है 70% equity stake. 1st April 2026 is the date of acquisition and this balance sheet is the pre-acquisitions balance sheet, and that date R Limited acquire किया है 70% stake of S Limited at rupees 44,000 lakh. Company has adopted an accounting policies to measure non-controlling interest at fair value. Company ने अडॉप्ट किया है NCI को कैलकुलेट करेगा at fair value quoted market price adopting Ind AS 103. Accordingly, the company computed full goodwill on the date of acquisition, that is on 1st April 2026. Shares of both the companies are at face value, that is 10 rupees each. Market price per share of S Limited as on 1st April 2026 rupees 64. Entire long term borrowings of S Limited, जितना भी S Limited का जो borrowings है वो R Limited से किया हुआ है. सारा borrowings जो लोन लिया हुआ है S Limited का from R Limited. The fair value of net identifiable asset is 50,200 lakh. Prepare consolidated balance sheet as on 1st April 2026 पर Ind AS 110. Date of acquisition के दिन ही हम लोग को consolidated balance sheet बनाना है. तो सारा details दिया हुआ है, assets दिया हुआ R Limited का, that is PPE 1,07,000, S Limited का 44,000. Investment of R Limited is 10,000 and S Limited 2,000. Loans of R Limited is 20,000. That loans जो R Limited का asset है वो इसका S Limited का तो liability है, intercompany loan adjustment है जो कि एलिमिनेट हो जाएगा एट द टाइम ऑफ कंसोलिडेशन. करंट एस इन्वेंट्रीज है आर लिमिटेड का 20,000, एस लिमिटेड का 10,000. ट्रेड रिसीवेबल है आर लिमिटेड का 18,000 एंड एस लिमिटेड का 24,000. कैश एंड कैश इक्विवेलेंट है आर लिमिटेड का 68,000 एंड एस लिमिटेड का 10,000. इंटर कंपनी, अगर एक कंपनी जो होल्डिंग कंपनी है सब्सिडरी कंपनी एक दूसरे से कोई भी एसेट्स या लायबिलिटी शेयर करती है तो एट द टाइम ऑफ मेकिंग कंसोलिडेशन उसको हम लोग को एडजस्टमेंट करना पड़ता है. कैसे करेंगे वो वी विल डिस्कस इन द सोल्यूशन. वी विल एडजस्ट दैट एंट्री बाय एलिमिनेटिंग इंटरकंपनी एडजस्टमेंट. शेयर होल्डर्स फंड शेयर कैपिटल दैट इज आर लिमिटेड का 40,000 एंड एस लिमिटेड का 10,000. अदर इक्विटीज दैट इज आर लिमिटेड का 1,20,000 एंड एस लिमिटेड का 40,000. ये अदर इक्विटी का बाइफर्केशन यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है, दैट इज जनरल रिजर्व है आर लिमिटेड का 1 लाख और रिटेन अर्निंग 20,000. यहाँ पे एस लिमिटेड का अदर इक्विटी 40,000 है, उसमें जनरल रिजर्व 30,000 है और रिटेन अर्निंग 10,000. फाइनेंशियल लायबिलिटीज दैट इज लॉन्ग टर्म लायबिलिटी आर लिमिटेड का 42,000 है और एस लिमिटेड का 20,000 है. इसका नोट दिया हुआ है. सारा जो एस लिमिटेड का बोरोइंग्स है दैट इज फ्रॉम आर लिमिटेड. डिफर टैक्स लायबिलिटी दैट इज 5,000, एस लिमिटेड का 1,000. लॉन्ग टर्म प्रोविजन आर लिमिटेड का 14,000 एंड एस लिमिटेड का 10,000. ट्रेड पेएबल हो गया आर लिमिटेड का 16,000 एंड एस लिमिटेड का 3,000. शॉर्ट टर्म प्रोविजन आर लिमिटेड का 6,000 एंड एस लिमिटेड का 6,000. सो टोटल इक्विटीज प्लस लायबिलिटी बिकम्स 2,43,000 ऑफ आर लिमिटेड एंड एस लिमिटेड का 90,000. सोल्यूशन, पहले हम लोग नोट्स बनाएंगे कंसोलिडेटेड नोट. पुट ऑल द एसेट्स एंड लायबिलिटीज ऑफ आर लिमिटेड एंड एस लिमिटेड लाइन बाय लाइन एक्सेप्ट इक्विटीज ऑफ आर लिमिटेड एक्सेप्ट रिजर्व ऑफ आर लिमिटेड एक्सेप्ट इक्विटी ऑफ एस लिमिटेड एक्सेप्ट रिजर्व ऑफ एस लिमिटेड एंड इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑफ आर लिमिटेड इन एस लिमिटेड. ये सब को छोड़ के सारा एसेट्स एंड लायबिलिटीज ऑफ आर लिमिटेड एंड एस लिमिटेड वी विल पुट इन दिस consolidated notes. We will add all the if adjustment is required. So in PPE there is no such adjustments. We will just add the assets of both the companies, that is PPE of R Limited is 1,07,000 and S Limited का 44,000. So we will put here 1,07,000 and S Limited का 44,000. So we will just, there is no such adjustment is given in the question for PPE, so we will just add 1,51,000. Non-current investment of R Limited is 10,000 is given in the question. Invested by R Limited as on 1st April 2026, that is 70% equity stake at rupees 44,000. So total investment R Limited का 10,000 और S Limited में उसने इन्वेस्ट किया 44,000. तो टोटल इन्वेस्टमेंट उसका 54,000 हो गया. क्योंकि हम लोग यहाँ पे कंसोलिडेटेड बैलेंस शीट में जो एस लिमिटेड का इन्वेस्टमेंट है उसको हम लोग कॉस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल अकाउंट में एलिमिनेट कर देते हैं। आर लिमिटेड का खुद का इन्वेस्टमेंट है इन अदर कंपनीज, नॉट इन सब्सिडरी। सो इन दिस केस वी विल ओनली शो द इन्वेस्टमेंट जो कि अदर कंपनीज में किया हुआ है आर लिमिटेड का। तो यहाँ पे अदर कंपनीज में 10,000 किया हुआ है, 44,000 जो इन्वेस्टमेंट किया हुआ है वो एस लिमिटेड में जो कि सब्सिडरी है। तो उसको हम लोग कॉस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल अकाउंट में दिखाएंगे। कॉस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल 70% स्टेक टू इन्वेस्टमेंट इन एस लिमिटेड दैट इज 44,000 लाख। और एस लिमिटेड ने भी कहीं पे इन्वेस्ट कर रखा है 2,000, सो दैट इज ऑल्सो एडेड इन कंसोलिडेटेड बैलेंस। तो 10 + 2 दैट इज 12,000। लोन गिवन टू द सब्सिडरी, तो यहाँ पे 20,000 इज गिवन टू द एस लिमिटेड। तो इंटर कंपनी एडजस्टमेंट होगा। यहाँ पे एस लिमिटेड के बुक्स में ये लायबिलिटी है तो ये एडजस्ट हो जाएगा, यहाँ पे कुछ मिलेगा नहीं, ये माइनस हो जाएगा क्योंकि इंटर कंपनी का जो भी लोन्स उसका रिसीवेबल्स है उसका पेएबल है। सो दैट रिसीवेबल एंड पेएबल विल बी एलिमिनेटेड। एक कंपनी का रिसीवेबल एक कंपनी का पेएबल है, दैट विल बी एडजस्टेड एट द टाइम ऑफ मेकिंग कंसोलिडेशन। सो यहाँ पे रिड्यूस हो जाएगा। और यहाँ पे एस लिमिटेड के बुक्स में लॉन्ग टर्म जो लायबिलिटी है वो कम हो जाएगी 20,000 से, और यहाँ पे एसेट कम हो जाएगी आर लिमिटेड की 20,000। इन्वेंट्रीज आर लिमिटेड का 20,000 है, एस लिमिटेड का 10,000 है, दैट इज टू बी एडेड। बाइफर्केशन 15, 30,000। ट्रेड रिसीवेबल दैट इज 18,000 of R Limited, 24,000 of S Limited. 18 plus 24 it becomes 42,000. Cash and cash equivalent. At the time of making investments, R Limited का balance sheet था before acquisition, that is at that time the cash and cash equivalent in the balance sheet of R Limited is reflected at 68,000 lakhs. Steve cash में से invest किया 44,000 lakhs in S Limited. वो cash reduce हो जाएगा by 44,000 lakhs. Remaining cash कितना बचेगा R Limited के पास? 24,000 लाख। और एस लिमिटेड के बुक्स में जो भी कैश है वो एज इट इज कंसोलिडेट हो जाएगा, दैट इज 10,000 लाख। सो टोटल बिकम्स 34,000 लाख। लॉन्ग टर्म लायबिलिटीज 42,000 इन द आर लिमिटेड एंड 20,000 इन एस लिमिटेड देगा। सो 42,000 प्लस 20,000 माइनस एडजस्टमेंट 20,000, सो इट बिकम्स 42,000। डिफर्ड टैक्स लायबिलिटी दैट इज 5,000 in R Limited, 1,000 in S Limited. So it becomes 6,000. Long-term provision that is 14,000 in R Limited and 10,000 in S Limited. Trade payables 16 plus 3 19,000. Short-term provision that is 6,000 plus 6,000 it becomes 12,000. So total consolidated notes बन गया। हम लोग ऐड करके adjustment entry is to be passed. Because in these notes कोई भी other adjustment नहीं बोला हुआ है। Internal long-term borrowings of S Limited is from R Limited. Non-controlling interest को हम लोग कैलकुलेट करेंगे by using fair value method. Market price of S Limited का शेयर का वैल्यू दे दिया गया है। नोट 2 दैट इज कितना इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल है आर लिमिटेड का। आर लिमिटेड का इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल है दैट इज 40,000 जिसका की फेस वैल्यू 10 रुपीज है। तो टोटल नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स हो गया 4,000 इक्विटी शेयर ऑफ 10 ईच फुल पेड दैट इज 40,000। कंसोलिडेटेड अदर इक्विटीज जो भी हम लोग नोट 2 में दिखाएंगे, होल्डिंग कंपनी का जो भी इक्विटी एज इट इज ले लेंगे। नोट 3 में होल्डिंग कंपनी का जितना भी रिटेन अर्निंग है वो एज इट इज ले लेंगे, उसमें कुछ भी हम लोग चेंज नहीं करेंगे। होल्डिंग कंपनी का खुद का प्री एक्विजिशन एट द टाइम ऑफ एक्विजिशन जो भी रिजर्व था वो आएगा। आफ्टर एक्विजिशन जो भी प्रॉफिट्स होल्डिंग कंपनी का खुद का वो आएगा। एस लिमिटेड से आफ्टर एक्विजिशन जो प्रॉफिट्स मिला वो आएगा। प्री एक्विजिशन जो भी प्रॉफिट था सब्सिडरी का वो कॉस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल अकाउंट में आएगा। इक्विटी आएगा दैट इज 70%। ऑन द डेट ऑफ एक्विजिशन एस लिमिटेड के बुक्स में कितना इक्विटी था 10,000 का 70% तो 7,000 और 40,000 इसका अदर इक्विटीज में था, उसमें जनरल रिजर्व और रिटेन अर्निंग बोथ है। दैट इज जनरल रिजर्व का 30,000 का 70% सो इट बिकम्स 21,000 एंड रिटेन अर्निंग का 70% इट बिकम्स 10,000 का 70% इट बिकम्स 7,000। इन्वेस्टमेंट किया था आर लिमिटेड ने एस लिमिटेड में 44,000 से एलिमिनेट कर देंगे होल्डिंग कंपनी का शेयर, सो गुडविल विल बी जनरेटेड एट 9,000 और नॉन कंट्रोलिंग इंटरेस्ट इज टू बी कैलकुलेटेड एट फेयर वैल्यू दैट इज 30% is non-controlling interest में by equity share capital of S Limited on the date of acquisition that is 10,000 का 30% 3,000 reserve 30,000 का 30% 9,000 retain earning का 10,000 का 30% 3,000 बैलेंस है non-controlling interest वो fair value पे डिटरमाइन होगा 1,000 lakh is the total number of shares, उसमें से 300 that is 30%. Given in the question, market price per share of S Limited as on 1st April on the date of acquisition becomes 64. Total number of shares 1000 lakhs है, उसमें 700 lakhs तो होल्डिंग कंपनी ने ले लिया, 300 NCI का है, 300 का 64 becomes 19,200 is the NCI closing balance. उसमें से हम लोग इक्विटी रिजर्व निकाल देंगे तो इसमें भी गुडविल आएगा 4,200. 4,200 is the goodwill from NCI and cost of control से गुडविल जो जनरेट हुआ 9,000. So total goodwill becomes 13,200. अब हम लोग consolidated बैलेंस शीट बनाएंगे एज ऑन 1st April 2026 को. दैट इज एसेट्स में क्या क्या डालेंगे, नॉन कंट्रोलिंग एसेट, नोट 1 में एसेट्स PPE 1,51,000, गुडविल जो हम लोग वर्किंग नोट 2 में गुडविल बना है 13,200, करेंट इन्वेस्टमेंट इज इन वर्किंग नोट 1 दैट इज 12,000, लोन्स कुछ है नहीं, इन्वेंट्रीज है 3,000 दैट इज इन नोट 1, ट्रेड रिसीवेबल्स इन नोट 1 it becomes 42,000 that is trade receivables, cash and cash equivalent 34,000 note 1. So total becomes 2,82,200. इक्विटी जो शेयर कैपिटल ऑफ होल्डिंग कंपनी है ये यहाँ से डायरेक्टली हम लोग नोट 2 से ले लेंगे, इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल ऑफ आर लिमिटेड. सिर्फ होल्डिंग कंपनी का इक्विटी शेयर कंसोलिडेटेड बैलेंस शीट में जाता है, सब्सिडीज का एलिमिनेट होके गुडविल जनरेट होता है. तो होल्डिंग कंपनी का इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल आ गया 40,000, अदर इक्विटीज इज 1,20,000 एज इट इज आ गया. नॉन कंट्रोलिंग इंटरेस्ट हम लोग ने कैलकुलेट किया वर्किंग नोट 3 में दैट इज 19,200 एट फेयर वैल्यू. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन में बोल दिया गया था लॉन्ग टर्म लायबिलिटी बिकम 42,000. डिफर्ड टैक्स लायबिलिटी नोट 1 में दिया हुआ है 1,000. लॉन्ग टर्म प्रोविजंस नोट 1 में दिया हुआ 24,000. करंट लायबिलिटी ट्रेड पेबल यहाँ पे 19,000 एंड शॉर्ट टर्म प्रोविजंस भी दिया हुआ नोट 1 में 12,000. टोटल इक्विटीज एंड लायबिलिटी बिकम 2,82,200. इट टैलीड एसेट्स एंड लायबिलिटीज कंसोलिडेटेड बैलेंस शीट एज ऑन 1st April 2026 का बैलेंस शीट बन गया. थैंकिंग यू फॉर वॉचिंग माई वीडियो. इफ यू लाइक प्लीज शेयर सब्सक्राइब माई चैनल.